Entrepreneurs, listen up. Your blueprint for business growth awaits at the ACBN Legacy Symposium 2025. Join us on March 29, 2025 in Mississauga for a full day of inspiration, learning, and networking. With the theme, Building Wealth Through Franchising. This symposium is designed to equip you with the tools to accelerate your business growth. Imagine gaining invaluable insights from industry leaders like Brian Scudamore of 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and participating in workshops led by top experts who will share actionable strategies for scaling your business. Network with like-minded entrepreneurs, investors, and business leaders. Explore franchise opportunities. Participate in a sales pitch contest and discover innovative products and services in our vendor marketplace. Whether you're a business owner looking to scale, an investor seeking opportunities, or an entrepreneur interested in franchise systems, this event is for you. Don't miss this chance to hear from Dr. George Fraser and to turn your business into a scalable and sustainable brand. Register today and secure your spot at the ACBN Legacy Symposium 2025. Visit www.acbncanada.com to sign up now. See you there.
Test. Hey, welcome, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro Caribbean Business Network. Always encouraged and love having Dr. Vibe with us. So Dr. Vibe, if you don't know, is going to be one of the facilitators at the upcoming ACBN Legacy Symposium. So we said we'd love to hear from him a bit earlier, give people a sneak peek on some of the gems that they might get at the symposium, so a reason to be there. So first, would love to give you the floor to introduce yourself, Dr. Vibe, and then I'll dig into a couple questions after.
All right, so don't dig too deep. I don't want you to hit dead rock, right? So there you go. Hey, what's up, everybody? What is going on? I'm Dr. Vibe, host and producer of over 5,000 online conversations. I am a two-time Canadian Ethic Media Association Award winner 2018, their Innovation Award, which is their second highest level of achievement 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner. Also, I co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And the team that I'm one of the co-leads of, we have reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. I want to add to that we are the only fatherhood platform in the world that has had a continuous 4-year collaboration, partnership, relationship with Dove Men Plus Care. And here's the thing, they don't do multi-year deals. So after each year, we have to go through the thing again. But this year, they approached us. And this morning, we had a catch-up call, and I have offered to do just them to join me in a big event, 2 potential big events this year. And with so I met with their PR company, Edelman. So they want to know more. So we're going to do more of that. I'm a certified coach. I don't say I'm a coach. I can show you my paper upstairs since 2015. And the school that I graduated from 3 years ago hired me as a trainer and a mentor. So I train and mentor coaches all around the world to get their ICF, International Coaches Federation certificate. And I also am a certified entrepreneur coach, and I specialize with entrepreneurs in the ideation to $100,000 a year revenue stage. It's a pleasure to meet y'all.
Wonderful. And one thing, I love hearing the story of how you got into, I would say, this media industry. Do you call yourself a podcaster, show creator? What would be the term you use to describe what you do?
Well, people that know me, I'm different. I like to be different, because if you're doing the same thing, people are going to think you're boring. And for the first number of years, what I did, I called it podcast. I consider myself doing an online show, and the work it takes to, a lot of people don't see the background work.
Right.
You only see what you're seeing now. It is a show. I like to a lot of times observe the masses and do the opposite. That's why it's an online show. Other people, you can call it what you want, but this is my domain. I call it an online show. Epic Conversations, the home of epic conversations. Yes. There we go.
Love that. And what was that initial draw to get you into this line of work? Because I know you've been at it, I would say, almost a couple decades. Like,
no, not decades, but over a decade. Yes,
over a decade.
Not a couple yet. Don't push me out. Push me out of the chair yet. Initially, like a lot of people, that had gone to post-secondary institutions. I'm a graduate of the University of Toronto Scarborough College, UTSC as they call it now. It don't look, when I went, it don't look like it does now. It's a city now. It wasn't back then. I graduated, and one of the things I used to do, well, it's not around anymore. I used to go downtown. There's used to be a bookstore called Burke's Bookstore, run by Sam and Rita Burke, two wonderful elders, that was at St. Clair, just east of Bathurst. And I went into the store a lot, but one day I went in after I'd graduated and said, man, I don't have to do this stuff anymore. It's no relevance to me. Picked up a book, and I wish I had it with me. It's upstairs, called Black Men, Obsolete, Single, and Dangerous, the story of the African-American family in transition. Sat down in their place, read one chapter, bought it, read the whole book in one night, which I never did in university. I never read a book in my life, and said, okay, how can I create a safe and brave space for Black Canadian men and those who love them to share their stories? And I just said, okay, started something online, and all I had was a laptop, a microphone, and a dream. We did our first conversation, myself and a co-host, at my dining room table, and it just grown from then. That's a whole story in itself. I know you don't got as much time as I could with that, but that's how it started.
Well, I've never heard the story about the first conversation that you've had. Can you share a bit about it? Like
I'm gonna date myself a little bit. It was some people may not know, but this was about Michael Vick and the dogs.
Wow, gotcha. Yeah. So, what was the context of the conversation?
We just had conversation about it. Myself and a co-host, Vegas, who unfortunately transitioned a few years ago. Okay. We just sat and just had conversation. Nothing scripted, just the conversation we were having without a microphone. We just had a microphone. And we just started having conversations, and for a few months we did that, and I said, okay, let's take a break, because many things in my journey were come up through a birth, death, and resurrection. We took some time off, came back, and said, you know what? I don't feel I have that much. I had that imposter syndrome. I don't have that much value. People want to listen to me all the time. I don't like being a talking head. Then I just said, okay, let's figure it out. So I used to go to friends' dinner parties, put my microphone in the middle of the room, turn it on, we just talk.
Gotcha. And I feel like that vibe has really stayed with you throughout the years. When you're having, like, I'm watching your show, it's almost like people at a dinner, especially with like the Black Men Can Talk or the Black Canada Talking. It's really just, okay, what's happening right now? Let's talk about it. So I love that you've continued that throughout the years. And
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just curious now, what is the vision for Dr. Vibe Enterprises? Because I see in your signature, it's enterprises now. So I'm curious, what is on the horizon?
You are the second person to ask me that in the last 4 hours.
Right.
And definitely I want to grow, but I also want to bring people along with me and also do succession planning. I want to get to the point, and it's getting there in a lot of spaces right now, where I just show up. Everything else before that is, well, I still do some of the stuff before it gets on screen, but post is done by other people. Gotcha. I can just, and it also, so I win because I can focus my energy more on having conversations live. Right. The team that I have with me wins because they get to do stuff, and the audience wins, and the friends that we have on the platform win. I want us to make sure that as many people win as possible. I'm open for whatever is happening next, because, like I said, I want to grow up, but I want to bring people, especially people who look like yourself and myself, with me, because it's easier than ever to do this now, but it still takes a lot of work, and there's a lot more competition now than when I started.
And I would say the scrutiny that you'll get is a lot heavier, because it feels like everybody's an aficionado or a critic now. So if you produce something that's low quality and it isn't produced well, it's easy to, Well,
the thing with doing this sort of stuff from my lens, and my mentors tell me, people will tolerate bad video, but they won't tolerate bad audio.
Okay.
Ideally, though, you want both, because people want quality. And the audio part especially too, because not always people have the bandwidth to do video, because video takes more resources, or aka bandwidth, than just doing audio. But quality is a very important thing. Not only quality of your broadcast, but the quality of you and the quality of your guests and the friends you bring on. So that's why it's a online show to me. It's not just, oh, it's a podcast. No. It's a for me, it's a show and it's a production.
Makes sense. And I binge on some of your videos because there's so
You
many
need a
conversations.
life. You need a
there's
life.
so many conversations I mean, even with the show that we've done, I think we're close to like over 200.
Yeah, you know what? We have to find out. The anniversary's got to be coming up soon.
Like absolutely.
And it's more than 2 years. I think it's probably 3.
Oh wow, yeah, you're right.
Maybe 3, but we got it. We have to do something for the celebration. That's the morning vibe, by the way. Yes. Wherever you're watching this now, Monday and Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Continue.
And so I'm curious, with the numerous conversations you've had, when you think of the best advice that you've gotten from, what initially comes to mind? I know you can't pick just one, but I'm curious what usually comes to mind when you think of advice you've gotten from people either in the industry or even outside the industry.
That there's so many. Here's one that my main mentor said recently. 2 things. It's not who you know, it's about who knows you.
Okay. Yeah, yes.
And then another one is consistency of what you do in the dark with other people don't see is what provides legacy.
Okay. When they talk about like the reputation is what people say when you're not in the room. So
yeah, that's because the thing is, the more good you spread or the more bad you spread, and that's going to spread whether you're there or not.
Exactly. And that comes down to the character.
Yeah, and character, consistency, all those things.
I'm curious how it's been finding mentorship in the media industry. Did you start it out? I'm not sure.
Question.
Yeah, like has it been?
It hasn't been easy, but I'd say I wouldn't say media industry, more the content creation industry.
Okay, gotcha.
If it's just media, that's a little bit challenging at times. But the content creation industry, there are people out there, and if anyone who said no, I said okay, next. And I have some really good content creators that, and the reason why the relationship is good because I'm always asking, how can I help them?
Yes.
It's not just one way. I'm always asking them what I can do for them. So there's all different types of, I guess, mentors. I don't know the word you use. I think maybe it was that word. And I was just sharing that today with someone who was asking me. They asked, so Dr. Vibe, when you became an entrepreneur, and one of the things I shared with them is you need your entrepreneur team and you need a you team.
Okay.
Ryan, if you have a bad day, are you going to call up your accountant?
Yeah, right. They're usually the reason I'm having a bad day.
Well, I didn't want to go there, right? I didn't want to go there.
When they send us the CRA tax bills, like
exactly. But if you have a client that says no to you, are you going to go to your accountant? Are you going to go to your lawyer? You have that team for the professional stuff. Who's the team that you have with this personal who are going to be with you, whether you have a good day or a bad day? And there's nothing, I never feel that anyone has a bad day. I think we have bad moments, but I don't think we have 24 hours in a day that are consistently bad, all 24 hours. Just
like you said, when you're still alive to fight the battle another day, it can't all be bad. It's like, how do you use this as a learning moment? And so when you talk about learning, and I know like the space that you're in, there's not a lot of people that I know that are in the space that are forthcoming with bringing people with them. Because when we had the idea to start the Morning Vibe show, and I was just like a fan of what you're doing, and you're like, like, this is something we could do together instead of like collaboration. I see is really important with a lot that you do. And I know you don't like the community word, but in the Black community, what messages do you typically have for how we could work together better, just on a broad macro scale? Like, how important has collaboration been for you, and what can we do to do more of that?
How important is collaboration to me? Can I say immense?
Okay.
And collaboration doesn't mean it has to be something to it like an end result or service, just collaboration relationships.
Okay. Right.
Just in relationships. That's sort of collaboration. When I think about the Black environment these days, a lot of people are going through a lot fully understand it, but I look at it as an opportunity right now
Okay.
for us in tough times to get together and realize, hey, if we're going to get ahead, we got to rely on each other. I can't do it by myself. As I say to people, unless you were born on the Flintstones with a stork, you didn't come in the world by yourself. So why are you trying to do it by yourself? And there's something about making things better for our young people.
Absolutely.
And they will replicate a lot of times what they see.
Yeah, and I know a lot of times you'll hear people give presentations. They're like, "Oh yeah, the youth are the future," but just like you said, they're modeling us. So if we're not setting a good example, they're just gonna repeat bad.
I want to add. I want to just, and I guess the youth are a future, but for me, the foundation for people like us is the Black family. The Black family is the future, and that's one of our friends. I guess we can call him someone friend. George Fraser talked about it last year, how the importance, and he's really drilled in on that. And he's actually writing a book about the state of the Black family. I saw him on another platform. He's planning to release in the next 2 years about the importance of the Black family in regard to the success of Black people.
Oh man, looking forward to that. And he's been a staple it's almost become a tradition having Dr. George Fraser speak at the ACBN Legacy Symposium. So for those that do not have your tickets, we were able to open 5. We were sold out. And then we started calling people and saying like, "Hey, are you sure you're coming?" Because people are asking. So a few people did have their schedules changed, so we were able to open up 5 more tickets. So we'll share that link so people can go and get a ticket. Because
I'm going to tell you, I spoke with Dr. George Fraser for the first time back in June 2010.
So what was happening in 2010? Because would that have been the first time he came up to Toronto? Or he
came up, Warren Salmon.
Nice.
It was the North York Civic Center or something like that, and he came up there. And actually, before that, I had met him, but that time I remember. And there's a little tip: if you want to go see someone that's doing a presentation, get there early. Why? I got there 30 minutes early, and I was the only person in the place. And then Dr. George Fraser came in. And we sat down and had a conversation 15 minutes. That is actually the conversation that's on the website from back then. Okay. But you got one-on-one time with Dr. George Fraser. Yeah, that's still up from June 2010. It's audio only. It's still up from June 2010.
Hey, I'm gonna add to my homework tonight to watch that back because I remember you said it might be on there.
It's only audio, but it was really good. And he, a lot of things he said now are still applicable now.
Love that.
He's one of the OGs, real OGs.
What would it be? Because he said he started the Power Networking Conference in the 80s. So that's going on for 80, 90, 4 decades of what he's been doing with FraserNet and learning. And that's a key reason that we asked him to come up again, because this symposium coming up, the tagline is building wealth through franchising. So understanding how to build systems.
And I just want to shout out to Destiny Savory and also McMillan Group. What is up, McMillan Group? How you doing? Good to see you in the house as always. And Ray, I have to catch up with you because Ray was part along with Unique Russell, I believe her last, if I get it wrong, it's my head, not my heart. They just did a wealth symposium that was received in Montego Bay and Kingston, Jamaica.
Yeah, was that the Passport to Wealth?
Yes. And actually, I'm actually trying to get Monique to come on the Morning Vibe show because she's a lawyer and she has a lot of knowledge about trademarks and things like that.
Yeah, I just put up the comment about so true. The Black family will determine the future of a Black youth. Without
100%.
Black family, they struggle.
100%.
Absolutely. And so I was talking about like the symposium happening. The theme is about building wealth through franchising. But when people hear franchising, a lot of times entrepreneurs are like, oh, but I'm not franchising my company. This isn't for me. It's more so about the systems for your business and how you can operate. And like you said, not do everything yourself. But there's one piece that you've been very vocal about, and it's the power of sponsorship. And I was curious if you could share why you're so vocal about people getting into sponsorship when a lot of business owners don't really think about it.
There's so many reasons I want to get into that, and I had something else I wanted to share, and I forgot it, but maybe it'll come back up again. I was actually speaking with a Black not-for-profit this afternoon, and he was talking about grants and things and all like that. And when he said, "No, I see you on the screen," I said, "Can you just share a little bit more?" So I shared about 45 seconds. When he heard the dove thing, he went, "What?
You see it?
What? What?" And I'm going, "Yeah." And nothing against people who go after grants and loans and things like that. They're out there, etc. If you are relying on this is just me. This is just me. Because I don't want to be hard on anybody. I'm just being from my lens. If you are relying your business to run on grants, you're in trouble.
Right. Yeah. That's a difficult business model.
Now, especially in Canada right now, we're in the midst of an upcoming election. We don't know who's going to win.
Right.
The Liberal federal government has been quite gracious for over the last years of giving grants to Black organizations. But what happens if they don't win that election next time? And who knows, even we have a new prime minister, so you may have a new mindset.
True.
On regard to who, and also to a prime minister whose background is very much economics.
Yeah, and like banking concern.
Exactly.
It's interesting because he's been the governor of the Bank of Canada
and the Bank of England.
So now that screams to me super conservative-ish. Like,
yeah,
people in the banking sector do not like risk.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
This is why I say and I know a lot of people talk. Oh, I knew I was going to say you were talking about entrepreneurs and the whole thing of franchising.
Gotcha.
You can be an entrepreneur. You can buy into a business.
Yes, yes.
You don't have to be like, you can buy into a franchise. You're still an entrepreneur.
Yes, yes.
Just wanted to share that thought process. Just because there's more than one way to be an entrepreneur, right? You have people that own Burger Kings, McDonald's, etc. They are franchise owners, so they're running a business. They're not working in it, and sometimes they are. They're an entrepreneur. They own something.
True. Right.
I just wanted to clarify that. So when people say, "Oh, franchise," hey, so you buy into a franchise. If they're a good franchise, they have processes, systems, and operations already in place,
and they've done a lot of that trial and error to see what works. So when they say within the first 5 years, a person starting from scratch usually is 90% failure rate.
Yeah,
the franchise actually have a 90% success rate.
So I just wanted to include that's another option. Getting back to the sponsorship part, for me, when I'm looking at any ventures these days that's going to cost money, two things I say: okay, how can I delegate? Well, am I passionate about the idea? Is there a market for it?
Gotcha.
I have to be passionate about it, and there needs to be a market for it. Then the next thing I'll say is, okay, how can I have someone else's money pay for it?
Okay. Well, and that's where, because when you align with somebody else that has the same mission as you, they have deeper pocketbooks. Like typically they have budgets to execute that mission they have. So if you can say, "Hey, I can do this for you," that's something that I think a lot of business owners miss, to bring your skills to other
100%.
corporations.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one of the reasons why people are nervous or hesitant about sponsorships is because they don't know about it. Right. It hasn't been exposed to it. And that's why I say, hey, ask me questions. I'm part of a team. We have a 4-year relationship with a global brand. I'll even tell you something crazier. About 3 weeks ago, they said, "We want to renew with you again this year." How many times does a brand approach an organization? We want again.
Right. Yes.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying, getting back to the sponsorship piece, yes, it can be a lot of work. But of course, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But let me ask you, when you do a grant, do you always get it? When you do a grant,
exactly,
you just get a yes or no. Can you get any more information why you didn't get it? Most of the time you don't.
Right. It depends. Right. Yeah.
And again, there's a lot less competition in the sponsorship space than there is in the grant space. My main mentor a few weeks ago shared some stats that in the United States, only maybe 50% of all major corporations get approached about sponsorship more than 3 times a week.
Whoa. So only like, and if you think of the amount of businesses that are in the US especially, and only 50% of them are just getting approached to say like,
Yep.
hey, this is a potential.
Yep.
Wow, that's so like money left on the table, man.
So I'll give a perfect example. And I was at an event last night. It's I guess it's a networking event. I don't like that, but forgive me, George Fraser, because too many people use it. And there was a present sharing session done by these two ladies. I had met one of them about 4 or 5 months ago. Her and this other lady have started a not-for-profit that helps, and this should be familiar with a lot of us, helps entrepreneurs who were formerly incarcerated.
Ah, okay.
Now, here's the thing. One of the ladies actually had spent time in prison, 3 or 4 years. While she was in prison, she one of the foods that she really took on to was popcorn. Now, maybe some people have heard about this lady. When she got out of prison, she started her own line of popcorn.
Oh, okay.
And it's being distributed right across Canada. The lady that sat beside me while one of these ladies was sharing, saying, "You know what? I ate your popcorn last night at the Maple Leafs game."
Oh snap! What? Okay.
Has major coverage. The other lady, she has experience helping with startups, etc.
Gotcha.
Long story short, because of the grunt work, and of course, this other lady is formerly incarcerated. She shared her story, the credibility.
Yes.
They have one donor for their first year of operations has given them $600,000.
Look at this. And this is where that alignment is. Now you can unlock because if she wasn't thinking about that, man, that is a big lost opportunity.
$600,000 they have in their kitty for operations. And now again, because of relations, there were other people in the room that like they didn't know how to set up a bank account, and there were other people in the room that helped them with that. So that's why you have to build relationships, because you're not going to know everything. So, but you better have the relationships with people who are willing to help you when you reach out, and again, be reciprocal. But $600,000, and they've had media. I'm not going to see online if I can see any of it, but so they have a $600,000 sponsorship, and
that hammers home the point of this is an area that people at least need to have as part of their strategy. It can't be that you're only, chasing grants or even loans, but sponsorship is something that's there, and the opportunity is so big that if you get the right guidance, and I know your mentor, Mary Armstrong, does a course that shows people how to approach companies with sponsorship ideas. So definitely something more of us should plug into.
Absolutely. And you got to be, ready to make the investment.
Yes.
It's really, and hey, I'm not saying it's easy, but at least when the thing is, first of all, when you do your offering, because I don't like using deck, when you do your offering, when you do it once, basically all you do is edit. You don't have to create from scratch. Unlike a grant where you got to write everything, right? And it's, to me, and it is not easy, because the toughest part of getting the sponsorship is meeting the right person, getting in contact with the right person. That can be quite a challenging, but there are ways that you can do it. There's creative ways that I do it. And let me tell you, after, having that credibility with Dove Men Plus Care for 4 years now, when I'm sending something off, it opens up a lot of doors.
Yeah. And I love that what you said about you're able to then craft your package, and that's like the heavy lifting. Okay, you get that done, but then you can use that as like the blueprint for
rinse, wipe, repeat.
Yeah,
rinse, wipe, repeat. Yeah, I'm in the middle of there's a big event that I'm looking to do between now and people are going to say already Q1 of next year.
Okay.
So today, the first part of the journey was to get the PR company on board.
Okay.
They loved it.
Right.
They loved it. And I said, hey, I only had 5 minutes because it was a 30-minute. Say, again, the strategy here, before we left, I said, hey, I'd like to present this more in with some more time, when would you be available? They gave me a time, it's booked.
Yes.
Whether it's, especially with sponsorships, it's so important if you can get an ally with that organization, because the people we spoke with today, or I spoke with today, are all championing me and our team with the big brand. So they're going to go to right for it. So if we can get their credibility along with some other things, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be the first. Speaking that it's gonna happen between now and Q1. It's gonna be the first of its kind in Canada.
Hey, and sending positive vibes.
Well, I'm happy. You gotta,
man. That's amazing.
You got to celebrate your wins along the way. That's another thing I have to share with entrepreneurs. That was one of the key things. Is one of the people on the call today was someone who had left that team a few years ago when it was back, and it was so amazing to see this person back. And she, like, even before we started, she says, "We are so happy to be working with you." I said, beautiful. So they're gonna fight for us, and also you leveraging it with other brands. But it was good to see that. And again, asking for help is so important.
Valid. And my last question will be about a bit of the things you might share at the symposium, why people should attend. But before I ask you that last one, I'm curious about what is the best way for people to be able to work with you if they're hearing things that, you know, about sponsorship or ways that they could fine tune what they're currently doing. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
All right, I'm gonna put my email address in the comments. You should know it, but if you don't, you can also put it on like the lower third. But just best way is email address dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. That's the best way to get in touch with me, and I will 90% of the time get in contact with you within 48 hours or less.
Hey, that's reasonable. And so, ladies and gentlemen, email is there. I will leave it up as I'm going to ask Dr. Vibe. So a person hears that you are on the ticket. You're going to be one of the facilitators during our, it's almost like, it's not speed networking. It is, I call it speed facilitation, where you get to talk to more experts and then follow up with them to work with them long term. So now,
can I just interrupt there? You said another very valuable thing that all entrepreneurs need to know: follow up and follow through. Very, very, very important. When you go to events like the symposium, I'm gonna go in a little bit here. First of all, I use business cards. Why? And Dr. George Fraser,
Dr. George Fraser said it.
Right? He said, why? He used it because he can write on the back with them all the details about the individual. But if you don't, you can use these things and exchange. I have an app and all that sort of stuff. If I have a good conversation with someone, I will tell them, you know what? I'm going to follow up with you within 48 hours.
Okay.
But I do it in 24.
Okay. Yes.
Under promise and over deliver. And there's a number of different ways. One of my cheat codes for years has been video messaging. I do video introductions. And people go, what do you mean by that? Email me and I'll show you.
Okay.
The nice thing about using the video introduction, one, it's different.
Yep. True.
Second, it's really personal. 3, depending on the software that you use, it will notify you when that person opens it up. That's the price of admission right there. Right. And there are so many people, when I send a video introduction, 75% of them say, this is cool. I like that. So already before anything else, they love the way that you have communicated with them. And you separated yourself from the 100 other emails that they've got. 100%. 100%. You separate yourself from the masses. That's some of the stuff. And I've been saying that for a long time, but still people go, what? Another thing I'll lightly hear, but go deeply in is we do use testimonials. Good to use them on your website. I'm suggesting now that you don't use testimonials when you're trying to get into a partnership with a organization. Okay. But then what would be the alternative? I'll stay at high level now, doing a white paper. Oh,
What? What? I need to learn
Oh,
more. So talk to me. So
well, God, I might as well not show up at the symposium. But uh, instead of
I'm gonna
showing,
be at your table.
yeah, well, maybe instead of showing testimonials, why don't? Here's a perfect example.
Hmm.
Uh, okay, say for instance, I want to reach out with our one of the teams I'm a part of, the fatherhood men's team. I want to reach out to Home Depot.
Okay.
So the key thing is, okay, finding out like who's the person that handles sponsorship at Home
Mm.
Depot.
Right. Right.
How are you going to get in contact with, whether it's LinkedIn? There's also this software where you can find out people's email address. But
Gotcha.
then the next step is, what are you going to put in that email that's going to get their attention?
Exactly.
You don't, if you say, hey, right, they're
Yes.
probably not going to look at it. So people don't realize, especially when you're forming that relationship, your subject line is critical,
I
because
agree.
that's the
I
first thing
agree.
they're going to see.
True.
And when you're following up and following through, you send your first email. Don't put the same subject matter in this follow-up email, please.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Right? But that's a whole other piece in itself. So
Gotcha.
getting back to, I went off that tangent. I don't know what I was talking about.
Well, you're the white paper. Like why
Yes.
you
What?
use the white
Okay. All
paper.
right. So I'll just give it out here. Say I'm approaching Home Depot.
Mm.
I could send them testimonials. Great. But why don't I send them a few page document of saying our experience on working with Dove Men Plus Care?
Whoa, that's
So here's here's
deeper.
who we are. This is what we do. Here's the problem.
Right,
This is
right,
the problem that Dove Men Plus Care had. This is the actions that we took, and this is the results. 400,000 dads and fathers reached in 4 years, and a 4-year continuous relationship.
yeah, that's way more profound than just a testimonial saying like, "Oh, it was great working with Dr. Vibe," and it's like in a quotes, but this gives
Or
them the meat.
or even better, if you're going to do testimonials,
Mhm.
get video testimonials from people you've worked with and saying how you made them better,
Love that.
not
Listen,
how great you are.
we have to like this. We have to leave it as a tease because people need to be at the symposium to
That's it.
dig deeper into Dr. Vibe's nuggets. Because listen, that alone is going to be resonating with me to say
No,
like,
that
hey,
was a game changer for me, and that's
I
just
love that.
recent. That was a game changer for me, and also have good mentorship. Like, I was away recently. My major mentor went on IG Live. I said, and he always says, "Hey, does anyone have any questions?" I jumped on, and he gave me the whole game plan on how I'm approaching this next thing I'm working on. To the point, he said, "Hey, you do this. You send me what you're doing." So I send what I'm doing him. I'm giving him updates. So hey, and if someone is doing what you want to do, or you are doing, and they've done it one day more, they're the expert.
Okay. No, I love it. And again, so ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna cut this up and share it out because there's so many segments of things that I want people to rewatch, but get the man in person. You can come and see him Saturday, March the 29th. It's always a pleasure. I think you've almost been to all of them. I
Yeah,
know
I've
all the
been to
ones
the
that
last
you
few. Can I
Yeah,
leave? Can I leave on a few quick things?
absolutely. Yes.
Okay, and I won't go into deep. You can just think on them. Value, not vanity.
Okay. Right, right.
Also, when you're doing content creation, what's a shareable moment that you can send out there to more people? What's that shareable moment? Ryan likes this one. I said the other day, likes don't pay for the lights.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then finally, for those who do or do it, the power of live streaming.
Yes,
The power,
yes.
because this is what we're doing now can be cut up audio wise, video wise. You can create blog posts, you can create posts. There's so many different ways of using live video content.
And I want to thank you for mentioning that because my wife was looking at me like, you should actually take that advice and do some live streams and say like, hey, the symposium's coming up. So shout out to Cher. Thank you for
absolutely.
encouragement.
And yeah, it doesn't have to look professional like this. Like a lot of people do the Instagram live. I don't do a lot of Instagram lives, but there may be a collaborations coming in the next few months where I offered it to some people I was chatting with. They go, oh, I like that. Even if you do it on iTunes, it's low cost, bang, it's done, but find a way of saving it and chopping it up and getting it out there. And I'm a big YouTube fan. I know people love their TikTok, and hey, whatever works for you is great. For me, the reason why I like YouTube, pop quiz, who owns YouTube? Does anyone know? Google. Yes. So if you do well with YouTube stuff, it increases your search engine optimization, your SEO on Google, and Google is still the number one search engine that's used by 80% of the world.
Whoa.
And nothing wrong with TikTok, more than fine. And actually, another thing I'm going to maybe talk about at the symposium, influencers. Had a very interesting conversation about influencers these days.
That's a code I definitely have not cracked. So would love to get so what would be something we can tease about what you've learned about influencers? Are we not utilizing it enough? Is it overhyped? What are your initial thoughts?
A few things. You don't have to have a big audience to be an influencer.
Gotcha.
There are some influencers out there that I was speaking with someone today. Some of the rates that they're charging, I'm wondering,
yes,
because I'm saying, okay, if I'm using as what's my return on investment?
Gotcha, exactly.
Now, again, that's another thing with sponsorship. Everyone thinks, oh, if I go into a sponsorship with a company, I got to sell their product. No, you don't. Not every sponsorship agreement is done on that. Full disclosure, we don't have to sell one Dove Men Plus Care product. We have never had to. We never have.
Gotcha.
So when you get into brand sponsorship arrangements, the sponsor will either want one of three things: conversion, which means you got to do sales,
right.
Awareness, or they want to look like a good corporate citizen. The majority of organizations, that's one of that's probably the three reasons why they want to get into sponsor. And the key thing is, if you're offering to help that brand, it's all about them, and there's got to be alignment. There has to be alignment. Our team could not be anywhere near saying, "Oh, well, we want to align with Dove Women's Care." No, we're a fatherhood and men's. There's not alignment there. So alignment, and that's only good for sponsor, but alignment in life. Alignment in life is really important. I'll stop there.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you like the conversation, it is continuing Saturday, March 29th. Be there at the ACBN Legacy Symposium, but take away that nuggets. If you do get to meet Dr. Vibe and you get to talk to him and you get some nuggets, the profits are in the follow-up, or the money is in the follow-up?
Well, the follow-up is so important. Yes. I've been able to develop a lot of great relationships and business, but follow-up and follow-through is so important. And I'm going to put it out there. I'm the first person who emails me from this. I will share half an hour of chat time, and you can ask. And I don't know everything. Sorry to disappoint you, but if I don't know it, I may have my resource library, things that can help you get clarity on that. And I don't want to know everything. I never want to be there. I always want to be pursued.
100%. You heard it. The email is there. Send a note. The key is in the follow-up. Just hearing us talk is one thing, but following up and getting that one-to-one. I always appreciate getting to talk to you, Dr. Vibe.
It's a pleasure, Ryan Knight. It's about time you put me on the hot seat, right?
We got to switch it up every so often.
And I'll end off with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Yes. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Also, if you're not making money, make history, but try to do both.
And always
make it better.
Love it, love it. We'll end there. Dr. Vibe, thank you again. Looking forward to seeing you Saturday, March the 29th.
Oh, looking forward to seeing you on Friday. Bye.
Yes, that too. Have a good one.
Be well and keep the faith.
Love it.
Stop struggling alone. Harness the power of your community instead. Your network could be your greatest asset. Dr. George Fraser has a powerful message for Black entrepreneurs. True wealth isn't just about money, it's about connections. His 555 strategy shows how to leverage relationships to overcome barriers and build lasting prosperity. Think about your network right now. Do the people around you actively help open doors? Are you intentionally building relationships that foster business growth? Are you investing in a network that invests back in you? Fraser's method isn't just theory, it's a proven framework. Master it, and you'll position yourself for long-term success, not just in business, but in community wealth building. That's why events like the ACBN Legacy Symposium are so crucial. It's not just another business event. It's a gathering of Black professionals who know collaboration is key. Dr. Fraser's insights can revolutionize our approach to wealth building. The opportunity to transform your network into your greatest asset is right here. Will you take it?